Okay, real quick, credit card statements and all the information they give you. In addition, we're going to learn how to create a credit calendar, and we're going to learn how to find the average daily balance using that credit calendar. Starting with some vocabulary. So, I need a pointer. The billing cycle is a predetermined amount of time set by the credit card company that is used for your calculating your credit card bill. And that billing cycle, they will tell you on your credit card statement, is it 30 or 31 days? I suppose it could be 28 days too, but it's usually 30 or 31. So a credit card statement is an accounting of the credits and debits in the form of a monthly report that is sent to the credit card holder. And that is the credit card statement. Credits are payments, debits are purchases and fees. We've talked about debits and credits before, maybe briefly, but we have talked about them. A debit is what you're charging to your account, so that's going to increase your balance. And a credit is going to reduce your balance, so it's going to be your payment. It could also be an actual credit to your account. If you ever buy something using your credit card and you take it back, they refund your money. What they do is they refund that to your credit card company, and then you'll see that as a credit on your bill. So it's technically a payment, but that's how you get your refund on a credit card. It seems a little bit counterintuitive, but they mark payments and credits as a negative because that's decreasing the balance you owe. Everything is in relation to your balance on that credit card. But sometimes instead of a negative sign, they put it in parentheses. That's a very typical accounting way to indicate a negative. Okay, moving on. I think you guys read through the words on the right and then see how many of the definitions on your left you know, and then we'll do them all together at the end. Okay? So you're reading 1 through 8, and then see if you can match them up. I personally would use numbers, which is what I did. It's easier to correct if you don't have something right. You don't have to know them all. You don't have to read them all and try them all. I'm not going to give you a lot of time, but it is helpful if you try to do it before we go over. It does make it easier for you to remember. That is a strategy that is good for remembering things. So you're reading the 8 words on the right, or terms, and then you're seeing what you think the definition would be on the left. Carla, going to translate it? I know your English is really good, but this is not something you're used to talking about. That's right. Find it in here. Elder, did you do any of them? Come on, buddy. Huh? You did 4? Okay. Which one did you feel really comfortable with? 4. That's the only one you didn't have before? Oh, I thought you did 4 of them. All right, 4, late charge. Where does what letter does late charge go with? C, the penalty for late payments for a previous month. That is correct. Eldred, see if you can do another one. You were underachieving. What's another one? available credit, and you said G, the maximum amount you can owe at any time. Uh-oh. If it were a game show, we would be you there, right? I know where you get that, though, right? So it is related to the credit limit. So this is the maximum amount you can owe at any time. The available credit, let's look over here. It's the difference between the maximum amount you can owe and the actual amount you do owe. Even getting them wrong still helps you remember them. Sometimes getting them wrong will help you remember more. Brady, you got one you feel really comfortable with? The penalty for late payments from the previous month. Yeah. Oh. I did not read this one. So you said finance charge was, anywho, I don't know what you said, Audrey. We're going to go back to here. That the cost of using their credit card for the current billing period, if not paid in full, is the interest or the finance charge, not the late charge. They're different things. If you don't pay off the entire balance, but you at least pay the minimum payment, they don't charge you a late fee. Okay, Eldred? I just assumed you had it right because you were so confident, but that was my bad. My bad. But they are close. Once again, they're closely related. So the penalty for a late payment is a late charge. The cost is the finance charge. Joseph, you got one you feel good about? Hey, any money owned before, well, let's just see. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Any money owed before the current billing period is the previous balance. Guys, will you take your headphones off, please? Thank you. Anybody else got earbuds, earpods? Oh, I said that wrong, but you know what I mean at this point. And headphones, have to take them off. Sky, what do you think? Do you know any of the other three that we haven't uncovered? You know all of them? Which one you want to do? B is 5. The amount you currently owe is your new balance. The total amount received by the creditor, we're going to kind of pop through because we will run out of time probably, is 7, your payments and credits. So the creditor is a credit card company, and you are, what are you paying them, or what's coming back to them. All right, and so it reduces the amount you owe to them. And then the last one, the sum of purchases on the current bill are your new purchases. Okay? Credit line, credit limit, those are the same thing, by the way. All right, so here's an example of a credit card statement. I know yours is pretty tiny. Remember, there is a digital copy of this, so if you wanted to go back and look over it later, you can pull it up on the Chromebook on the home page. You can see here it should have your name and address. Account information is going to include your account number. The billing date is important. The due date is important. The transactions are going to include your purchases, any credits to your account, and any payments to your account. So you can hear, and it's always by date. Remember, the negatives indicate a payment or a credit. And they also will say payment here usually. All these boxes down here is a little summary of what's up here. This is kind of an itemized list. This is what you owed before this current bill. These are the payments and credits, and you can see that's the payment there, right? The new purchases, all of these items that don't have a negative, and they tell you where their money was spent, all add up to the new purchases. They do not have a late fee, but since they had a previous balance, they are going to have a finance charge. Remember, you only pay interest if you don't pay it off every month, so that is their finance charge. And their new balance is what they currently owe. This minimum payment is something they'll tell you. You don't get to pick that. There's not really a way to compute that. Down at the bottom, your maximum amount you can owe at any time. Total credit, remember, is your new purchases, so your current balance minus being subtracted from your available credit. So let's look at here. How many purchases were made during this billing cycle? Maggie, how many purchases were made? Nope. So this one's not a purchase, right? That's a payment, right? So we've got to remember. So how many? Yep. What is the sum of all the purchases made during the billing cycle? Well, we could add them up, or we could just use a little cheat sheet down here, the summary, right? So that is the purchases made during the current month. What is the payment due? The minimum payment due this month, Kayla? Look up here on mine. Can you see mine? Yes. Oh, I always do that. This is the $20. The due date is February 2nd. And remember, it's given. They have to give you the due date up there. They have to give you all this information. By law, they're required to give you everything on here. How many days are in the billing cycle? What's it say on there? How many days in the billing cycle, Trey? Yep. What's the previous balance, Ariel? You can't. 150.50, right? $150.50. How much available credit does Jane have? Kevin? Kevin? Perfect. What's the APR, Chikias? The bottom right-hand corner. See it? Yep. And the finance charge for this billing is given in this box. All right. So now we're going to go on. We've got another statement. Mine's bigger than yours, so if you want to look up here instead of trying to read the fine print, you can. If you want to pull up the digital copy on your Chromebook, if you're having trouble, you could do that as well. So if you can't see it, pull it up on your Chromebook, but I did try to make it relatively big here. So now we're going to use the information that is given in this statement to fill in the values that are not given in this statement. So we will need to know the total available credit, the payments and credits made, the new purchases, and the new balance. A is first, but A we cannot do first because A is the credit line minus the new balance, and we can't do that one yet. So we're going to do A last, but you can write what you have to do there. B is the payments and credits. Payments and credits. What is the payment here? How many did you? Oh, you already talked to Ms. Houston. Okay. I knew I said your name. Mobby. What are the payments on this in this statement, Harmony? Oh, well, look on here. That's what we're doing right now, honey. Sorry? Okay, well, we're on today's notes. Oh, no, you can't do that right now. You got to stick with us today. What's that? All right, well, you're going to stop, put that away, and go to today's. Harmony? Okay. So we're looking here. What are the payments that they made on this statement? Number 2. Joseph, what are the payments they made? And if you add those together, that's $200. So it's just the sum of the payments and the credits. So if you had refunded something, that would be included there too, right? So if you just changed your mind on that cool beanie you have on and took it back to the store, they would credit your credit card by $800 with an $800 beanie, right? Right. Okay. I know you are. C, new purchases. How are we going to find the new purchases? Brooke, can you see them on the statement? anything that has a shop name or store name or something and then an amount without a negative, that's going to be our purchases, okay? So Megan's Shop, 85 and some change. Joe's Italian, 47.60. So these amounts here, those are our new purchases. If we add those all together, that's how we get C. So the sum of the purchases, and I'll do the math for you. You add up everything in this list of transactions that doesn't have a negative. That's the purchases, and that's $1,358.73. All right, D. Oh, the new balance. So the new balance is the previous balance minus the payment plus the purchases plus the finance charge, and that does include the late fees too. So that includes late fees. We add those as well. And really, you can just work your way from left to right across that summary box, right? So previous balance minus the credits plus the new purchases, plus late charge plus finance, that gives you new balance. Just work your way from left to right. Make sense? Okay. Isaiah? Payment? Payments? So here, if we go through, now we know what our B and C are. So our payments were $200. Our new purchases, $1,358.73. So previous balance minus 200 plus 1358.73 plus 670. That gives us our new balance, which is 1381.31. So that's what goes in the new balance box. Now we said at the beginning, our available credit, that's our first one. So we need to fill what we got to. The credit line, which is $5,000, minus your new balance. So D is your new balance. So your total available credit is $5,000 minus 1381.31. Remember, if you work on the decimals calculator, not to put commas in there. I had somebody trying to do commas on it this morning. Just popped into my head. Questions? So it's kind of intuitive after you know the terminology and you know what you're adding, what you're subtracting, what to look for. Any questions on the statement? Okay. So now we're going to use just the summary of a statement and we're going to find the new balance. So remember what we said, just work your way across from left to right to get to the new balance. Well, there is a new balance in that box. The question is that new balance correct? All right, so we're going to go from previous balance, subtract payments and credits, add new purchases, add late charge, add finance charge, and see if we get what they got. So we need to get $454.15. If that's what we get, it's a yes, it is the correct amount. If not, it's a no. Questions? If you don't want to write this again, you don't have to. We're just working our way across. You've got it on the last page. So that's how we're finding it. But let's put the numbers in just as an illustration. So these are the only negatives. Everything else is plus. And then equals. That might be helpful, especially if you're not going to write this. Just write the symbols across the top. Just a reminder. So it seems we got the same number, so now we know that the statement is correct. By law, they have to compute all of this stuff correctly under the Fair Credit Billing Act. They've got to provide you with all this information on every statement. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here, working left to right until we get here. This is the only minus, adding all these things together. And is it going to equal 548.01? That is the question. So the new balance minus your payments and credits, they've added everything together for you, plus your new purchases, they added all that together for you, plus any late charges, which there are no late charges, so there's not a number there. There's no sense in writing 0 there, right? And then the finance charge, what do you think? Is it going to be 548.01? Layla says no. Layla is right. It's 388.01. They are not equal. So since they're not equal, the answer is no, the statement isn't correct. They are not equal. These are equal, and that's why the answer is yes. So far, so good. If you'll read the statement, and really go through all the boxes. There's a lot of information there. Like I said, once you know the terminology and seen it a couple times, it's very logical. All right. One more. We need to find what is her available credit balance. Remember, that's the credit limit minus, do I have that written down here? Oh, yeah, I do. The credit line minus the new balance, and sometimes they call that the credit limit. I would argue they probably call it the credit limit more than they call it the credit line. Sorry, I'm going back. All right, so the new balance, same thing. We're starting here and working our way to the new balance. So the 6,556 minus 6,200 plus the new purchases, the transactions, plus the late charge and the finance charge. And the new balance is $23,1189. The question was not what is a new balance, but we had to find a new balance so we could find the available credit. So now we know it's going to be, what did they tell us the available credit was? So the available credit is $9,000. So it's 9,000 minus 23,1189. So they can spend in the next month up to $6,688.11. And still be within their credit limit. All right, questions? New balance, credit limit, any of that? Available credit? Okay. A couple more vocab words. A credit calendar. So this is a visual, kind of a visual aid of the purchases, payments, and balances for each day of the billing cycle. It is used to find the average daily balance on your credit card. The average daily balance is used to compute the finance charge on your credit card. So you fill out this calendar, you compute what the balance is every day separately, then you add them all together, divide by whatever number of days are in the billing cycle that the credit card company has told you is in it, and that's how you find your average daily balance. Average of the amount you owe each day of your billing cycle. So they don't charge you interest on the least amount you have on there. They don't charge you interest on the most amount you have on there on any day, but they average it and charge you a finance charge on the average daily balance. Caught up with me? Nope. All right, we're going to 3 more seconds, but we can come back at the end if you still need it, okay? And it'll also be on the recording if you need to fast forward through something if we run out of time at the end. Okay, so we're going to use this information to create a credit calendar. Mine's kind of cut off there because I'm trying to make it small. All right, so some important things to note. It says on April 23rd, which is the billing date, so that's important, underline or something, that a previous balance of this amount, the transactions during the next 31-day billing cycle were this: purchase, purchase, payment, purchase, purchase. These are the dates that happened on. So we're going to create a credit calendar, and then we're going to use that to find the average daily balance. Ready? All right. You ever seen those calendars that don't have any dates? That's what we're using. How many days did we say we're in the billing cycle? 31. What was the billing date? April 23rd. So the 31st day has to be April 23rd. So these are all weeks. Each row is 7 days. So the first 4 gets us to the 28th day, the 29th day, the 30th day, the 31st day. I forgot I've got a little sheet for you here. So the billing date's going to go here. So I do want you to write this. I'm going to make it bigger for you. So to create a credit calendar, you're going to label the dates in the calendar based on the days in the billing cycle and the billing date. That billing date's going to be the last day in the calendar, and then you're going to work backwards from there and fill it all the way in. Any days to the right, we don't use. Then you're going to label any charges or credits, and that says supplies. I do not know why it's not supposed to be a supply there. Supposed to say and every time the balance changes, you adjust it and you label it in the calendar. Oh, food. Y'all caught up with me? So, I have a copy of the things here because I'm about to change off this page. You guys can see it on yours a little more easily. Okay. So, this very last day, April 23rd. That's the 31st day, and that is the billing date. So the billing date always goes in the 31st day. If it's a 30-day cycle, if it's a 31-day cycle, if it's a 30-day cycle, we start here and work our way backwards from there. So the billing date, 31 days. Now we know. We're going to go backwards and just fill in. It's April 22nd, April 21st. I hate these kind of calculators, or calendars for the record. The 19th of April. And I just got tired of putting individual boxes at that point. We're just filling in. Going to fill in all the dates from there. Just work your way backwards, fill them all in. Once we get all the dates filled in, then we're going to go and we're going to start with our previous balance. That's going to go in the first box. So the billing date is the last date on the 31st day. And we're going to go and we're going to start with the previous balance. We're going to write that in the top left-hand corner on the very first day of the billing cycle. So this is the last day of the billing cycle. That means it's the first day. So here we're going to write the previous balance. So that's what you start the month with. And in this case, we circled it. It tells us that was $1,578.25. The first purchase, it's a little bit bigger without making it too wonky. Okay. The first purchase isn't until the 26th of March. So this balance on the 25th is going to be the same as the balance on the 24th. I'm sure you're all curious, but that is my daughter's birthday, March 24th.
Okay, I got a question. Okay, so you know how March comes out 31 days.
Ooh.
No,
you're right. No, it does have 31 days.
Oh,
April has 30. You know how I know? Do you know the knuckle trick?
No.
All your knuckles are 31. Everything between is 30. January, February, March, April, May, June, July. August and July both have 31, so if you pop back over to knuckle and start over, that's August, September, October, November, December. But I'm glad you thought about it. That shows me you're thinking. So if it only had 30 days, we would stop there. It is important that you know that, right? Really good observation. It would actually happen to be wrong, but I like that you're thinking about it. All right, so our first purchase was, their first transaction was on March 26th, and they purchased something at Party Supplies for $79.98, and now we adjust our new balance. So I went ahead and repeated this new balance here, previous balance here, because it's only one day. But we don't have another purchase until we get to March 30th. So rather than write everything, we can just draw an arrow indicating that this amount is going to go in all these boxes. Okay? Does that make sense? So it says on March 30th, they went to Outback. I love Outback. And they spent $52.76, which is not hard at Outback for sure. So that is going to increase their new balance and bring their new balance to $1,710.99. Maggie, we're not doing that right now. Now, there's not another purchase or a transaction until April 3rd. So that's all the way over here. So we can draw an arrow, but I kind of like to start the row with it. So this is $17.99. I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to draw my arrow through all the days that works for. So the daily balance on 1, 2, 3, 4 days is $17.99. Does that make sense, Trey? And on April 3rd, we make a payment. So now we're going to subtract from our current balance, which brings us to a new balance of $1416.99. The payment was for $250. So far, so good, Amani? Make sense, Dennis? Okay. So now that new balance goes for quite some time, right? We don't have another purchase until the 15th, so all the way down here. So I'm going to indicate that this goes all the way up to here. And I could type the $1460.99 in there again. You don't have to. The errors are sufficient. All right, so what's going to go in this box? April 15th. Dillard's. I cannot tell you the last time I was in Dillard's. April 15th, they bought something for $190.52, which has increased their balance to $1651.51. And it stayed that balance until the 22nd of April. So it's going to go all the way to here and then to here. The last transaction is a charge at the Honda dealership for $190.85. And so the balance on the 22nd of April is $1880, whatever that number is, $1,842.36. And that is the same on the last day of the billing cycle. So any questions on what we did so far? Possibly, why did we do it, right? Well, I'm going to show you why we did it. Because we are going to find the average daily balance. So an average means you always add up the numbers and then divide by the number of numbers you added up, right? So if I want to find an average of 5 numbers, I add 5 numbers up and then divide that sum by 5. We all know that, right? So here we've got to go through and see, all right, well, what did that have on how many number of days? So to find the average daily balance, maybe I'm going to go up here. So the average daily balance. So for the first 2 days, it was $1578.25, right? So 2 times 1578.25. And I'm going to, just because it's easier for me to type, I'm going to use parentheses and an asterisk for my multiplication. Then we're going to add that. Now the new balance on the 26th is $1658.23. How many days was it that amount? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 times 1658.23. Everybody with me? So now the new balance, $17,10.99. It was $17,10.99 for 1, 2, 3, 4 days again. Are you with me? What's the next thing I'm going to add there? Anybody? I can't really zoom in and be able to see it. You can move up, though. You want to move up? Okay, well, I can't zoom in or I can't see the whole thing. But there's a seat right up front where you can see it, honey. All right. All right, so what am I going to write next? What am I going to add next? Kevin, what do you think? So we did 4 times 17,10.99. Now we're up to here. So what am I going to do now? 4 again? How many days was the balance $1,460.99? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. That whole week is 7, so that's 11, 12. So now we're going to do 12 times 1460.99. Are you with me? What are we going to do now? So now we're here. What am I going to add now, Brady?
Times 16, 51,
6, actually 7, right? I didn't write there. So 7, yep. 7 times 16, 51.51, and then plus the last 2 days, 1842, so 2 times 1842.36, and then we're going to divide all of that by 31. When you do, I've forgotten what you get, but I have it up here, 1593.89. So this is the average daily balance. And I will make that part bigger now, Amani. I just wanted to be able to see the calendar while I did it. Is that better? All right. Once you get done with that, go to the other calendar and let's fill that in real quick. We're not going to have time to do the average daily balance. But we have 3 minutes. You should be able to fill in the credit calendar. So how many days are in the billing cycle? What is the last day of the billing cycle? Start there and work your way backwards. Once everyone is done writing this, I will put it up on mine as well. Is anybody still using this on the board? All right, Amani, I'll come back at the end if you want, but I'm going to go on so I can help them with this. All right, so this is your statement, and this is the calendar. There's 31 days. We're not packing up yet. We've got another minute at least. The last day in the billing cycle is June 26th. And we're going to work our way back. You may not want to fill them all in right now. Oh, poo. The most important thing is that you know that the billing date is the last day in the cycle, and if however many number of days are in the billing cycle, that has to be the billing date. So 31 days in the billing cycle means June 26th. Work your way backwards. May has 31 days too, Joseph. You use your knuckles. But June only has 30. Previous balance goes here. That balance goes for 3 days until we get to the first transaction. They made a purchase for $251, which brought their balance to $1051. So that balance, they did not make another purchase for 13 days. It stayed at 1051. FYI, if you add up all these numbers that we multiplied by, they're going to all add up to 31. There were 31 numbers. You know, we use multiplication for a shortcut, but here, they made another purchase, brought their balance to here. You guys can finish it, use the statement. I'll show it to you tomorrow at the beginning of the class. Not tomorrow. I will not show it to you tomorrow. I will show it to you on Monday.